Alright, factoring. When you factor, it simply means that you undistribute. So we just learned distributive property where you multiply what's on the outside to everything that's on the inside of parentheses. Well, with factoring, you do the opposite of that. So you divide both of the terms by whatever it is that they have in common. So you're going to look for the greatest common factor. So number one, we have 3x plus 9. So we're going to look at 3, and we're going to look at 9. 3 will be factored by 1 times 3. 9 is 1 times 9, and 3 times 3. So now we look at the biggest number that both of these factor trees have in common. They both have a 3. So we can divide both of these terms by 3. 3x divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 1 times x leaves us with x. Nine divided by 3 is 3. So we took the x out, we took the 3 out, we divided by 3, so we're going to write that outside of the parentheses, and on the inside we leave what is left. 3x divided by 3 is x, 9 divided by 3 is 3, so our factored answer would be 3 times x plus 3. 12x plus 7y. So we have 12 and 7. 12 can be factored by 2 times 6, and 6 can be factored by 2 times 3. The only thing that goes into 7 is 1 and 7. So now I look at the numbers in these factor trees. I have a 2, and a 3 for my 12, the smallest numbers. And then for the 7, I have 1 and 7. They don't have anything in common. So if I can't pull a number out, or I can't pull a variable out, then it cannot be factored. X plus 9. So I have 4 and 9. 4 is 1 times 4. 4 is 2 times 2. 9 can be factored by 1 times 9, and 9 can be factored by 3 times 3. So I have a 1, 2, 2, 3, and 3, and of course a 1. But 1 goes into everything. So if the greatest thing they have in common is a 1, then it cannot be factored. All right, number 4, 5x squared plus 15x. So, I have 5 and 15. 5 can be factored by 1 times 5. 15 is 1 times 15, and 15 is 3 times 5. The two things, or the biggest, greatest common factor that these numbers have in common is 5. So I'm going to divide x squared is x times x. We all know that. So 5x times x plus 15x. I'm dividing both of these by 5. And now I'm going to look at my variables. This is the first time we've seen one that the variables have something in common. In 5x squared, I have 2 x's that I'm multiplying. In 15x, I only have 1. So I can pull 1x out of both of these equations. So I'm going to I'm going to factor by 5x. When I do this, I'm factoring by 5x, so that goes on the outside. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So I'm done with those. X divided by X. Anytime you divide anything by itself, your answer is 1. So X divided by X cancels each other out and leaves you with an X for your first term. 15 divided by 5 is 3. And X divided by X, again, anything divided by itself is 1. So that's going to cancel itself out. And that leaves you with 15x times x plus 3. If you are not sure if you got it correct, you can distribute again. 15x times x, 5x times x is 5x squared. And 5x times 3 is 15x. If you got the same expression when you distribute after you factor, then you know that the answer you got, your factored answer, you know that that will be correct. So that's a great way for you to check your work to make sure that your answer is correct. All right, negative 2x cubed plus 8x squared. So I have 2 and 8. 2 can be factored by 1 times 2. 8 can be factored by 2 times 4. And 4 can be factored by 2 times 2. The biggest number that they have in common is 2. So I'm going to divide both of these numbers by 2. This first term is x cubed, so that's 1, 2, 3 x's. The second one is x squared, so that only has 2 x's. So I know that this expression has a 2 in common that we can factor by. And now one of them has 3 x's and the other one has 2. Well, the biggest amount of x's that both of them have in common are 2 of the x's. So I'm going to factor by 2x squared because I'm going to pull 2 x's out of both of these terms. So that's going to cancel out 2 of these x's. Will cancel out 2 of these x's and leave me with 1. And these 2 x's will cancel out x squared and leave me with no variable in my second term. Negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. I also have an x. Negative 1 times x is going to be just negative x. 8 divided by 2 is going to be 4. So the first thing I did is I eliminated, or I found my greatest common factor to see what number will go to both terms. Then I found what variable will go to both terms. So I knew that both of them would divide by 2. And I knew that both of them had 2 x's in it. So I'm factoring out 2x squared. Negative 2x cubed divided by 2x squared is negative x. And 8x squared divided by 2x squared is 4. So my answer is 2x squared times negative x plus 4. All right, 15x minus 10. Both of my terms do not share a variable, so I'm not pulling a variable out this time. I'm looking at 15 and 10. 15 can be factored by 3 times 5, and 10 can be factored by 2 times 5. The greatest common factor that both of them share is 5. So I'm pulling 5 out. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 10 divided by 5 is 2. I didn't get rid of a variable because this is the first term is the only one that had a variable in it, so it has to stay. So my answer is 5 times 3x minus 2. All right, for the last one, I have 15x squared minus 5x plus 30. So I'm looking at 15, 5, and 30. All of my terms do not share the same variable. My first two do, but the last one does not. So I can't do anything with that. So 15 can be factored by 3 times 5. 5 can be factored by 1 times 5. And 30 can be factored by 5 times 6. And 6 can be factored by 2 times 3. So each of these have a 5 in common. That's the biggest number that I have, so I'm pulling out a 5. I'm going to divide each term by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Keep your x squared. 5x divided by 5 leaves me with my minus x. And 30 divided by 5 is 6. So my answer is 5 times 3x squared minus x plus 6. All right, so let's practice this. To distribute, you take what's on the outside and multiply everything that's on the inside by that number. So 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times positive 5 is positive 10. 2x plus 10. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times positive 4 is positive 12. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times positive 1 is positive 6. And 7 times x is 7x. 7 times negative 3 is negative 21. So for the next 4, we're going to do the opposite of that. Instead of multiplying what's on the outside by what's on the inside, we're going to multiply the expression by the greatest common factor that these two terms have. So for 5 and 30, 5 will factor by 1 times 5. 30 will factor by 5 times 6. And 6 will factor by 2 times 3. The biggest number that they both have in common is 5. So I'm going to divide by 5. I'm pulling a 5 out of both of these terms. 5 divided by 5 is 1. That leaves me with x. 6 divided by 5, 30 divided by 5 is 6. That leaves me with positive 6. So the factored answer is 5 times x plus 6. 8x plus 8. I have 2 8s that are both divisible by 8. So I'm going to pull an 8 out of this expression. 8 divided by 8 is 1. That leaves me with x. And 8 divided by 8 is 1. That leaves me with 1. So my answer is 8 times x plus 1. 3x minus 12. So I'm factoring 3 and 12. 3 will factor by 1 times 3. 12 will factor by 3 times 4. And 4 will factor by 2 times 2. The biggest number, the greatest common factor that these two terms have is 3. So I'm going to pull 3 out of this expression. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times x is x. 12 divided by 3 is 4. That leaves me with minus 4. So the answer is 3 times x minus 4. For 15 and 20, 15 is divisible by 3 times 5. 20 is divisible by 5 times 4. And 4 is divisible by 2 times 2. So I'm pulling a 5 out. 15 divided by 5 is 3. Keep your x. And 20 divided by 5 is 4. 5 times 3x plus 4.